you are poor, when you're broke, when you're struggling financially,
every night I would think if I didn't wake up tomorrow, I would be okay with it.
So being broke is one of the best positions to start a business firm. You've got nothing to lose and everything to figure out. And when you've got nothing to lose, you stop trying to look smart and start doing what actually works. Now, everything you've been told about starting a business is 100% wrong.
The best way to stay poor is to listen to poor people about how to get rich.
You don't need investors, a unicorn idea, or a 10-page business plan. What you do need is so simple that most people ignore it. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what business to start, who to serve, and how to make your very first dollar. I'm gonna share the whole 4-step process. Because the truth is, money doesn't start businesses. Momentum does. Now let's talk about how to build it. By the way, if you're new to my channel, I'm Anika. I'm a creative entrepreneur, a writer, and a pitch deck designer. Over the last few years, I've collaborated with more than 160 plus brands from 19 plus different countries and helped them raise more than 80 million plus USD. On this channel, I talk about everything I've known from my own experience and also everything I've learned from hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours of research. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the mindset, and I'm going to share a few quick examples. But if you feel like you've already got the mindset part figured out, feel free to skip ahead to step 1. So when you're broke, you're forced to use something more stronger, creativity. And it's not just me saying that. Morgan Housel, the author of The Psychology of Money, wrote, "The ability to do well with money has little to do with how smart you are and a lot to do with how you behave." Being broke strips away the fluff. You cannot hide behind paid ads or fancy branding. You have to make something that people genuinely want. That's why so many great businesses start from nothing. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in a garage. John Combe built WhatsApp after growing up on food stamps. And on the other side of the world, J.K. Rowling built a creative empire from a welfare check, typing chapters in cafes between caring for her baby. And yeah, that's how she wrote Harry Potter. Broke doesn't mean that you're behind. It means that you're forced to focus on what actually matters, solving problems that hurt enough for people to pay for a fix. And that's where the first step begins, with what I call the 3 Ps: pain, profession, and passion. Step 1, the 3 Ps, how to pick the right business. Most people try to pick the perfect idea. Well, don't. Because perfection is a trap. You will waste months overthinking instead of testing. What you need is your best bad idea, because once it's out there, feedback will shape it faster than all your brainstorming sessions combined. Now let's break down the 3 Ps. The first P is pain. Start with something you have personally overcome. If you have solved it for yourself, you can solve it for others. Maybe you have figured out how to stop procrastinating, or you have probably learned how to lose 10 pounds without giving up your favorite food. Or maybe you just cracked how to stay consistent with workouts after failing a dozen times before. Whatever it is, that's your goal, because you have solved a problem that used to frustrate you. And I promise you, there are thousands of people out there stuck exactly where you were, and they're waiting for someone who finally gets it. The second P is profession. Your day job is your cheat code. You've already got the skills people pay for, you just haven't packaged them yet. Maybe you're good at writing emails that actually get replies, or probably you've been managing projects or keeping things running for everyone while everyone else panics. Whatever it is that you've been doing for someone else, you can turn that same skill into something that pays you. And this time, you're the one who sets the price instead of a boss deciding what you're worth. Now, the third P is passion. What's that one thing that you spend hours researching for? That's your unfair advantage. If you're the kind of person who reads Atomic Habits and ends up writing your own habit tracker spreadsheet for no reason, then congrats. That's your passion. So the passion creates staying power. When nothing else works and things get tough, your curiosity is what keeps you in the game. And by the way, here's the secret. You don't have to choose one of these 3 P's. Most successful businesses sit where all these 3 overlap. Pain gives you empathy, profession gives you skill, and passion gives you energy. So maybe create a Venn diagram and see what you have in that intersection, and that's basically your first idea waiting to happen. Step 2, find your who. Alright, now you've got your idea. The next question is, who is it for? If your answer to that is everyone, then congrats, you've picked no one. Because broad doesn't sell, specific sells. The riches are in the niches. And being a polymath, I've struggled with this quite a lot myself. So just trust me on this and go niche. So you can't just sell design services for small businesses. That's like saying food for humans. I mean, technically it's true, but emotionally it's just kind of flat. But if you say something like brand design for female founders launching their first product line, now that sounds like a real specific kind of person you can actually help. So how do you find your who? Well, there are 3 simple lanes. First is people like you. So these are people with same interest, similar background. So in this case, you've basically lived their pain. Number 2 is people you've already helped. So these are people that you have helped even for once, and pay attention to what people always ask you to help them with, and that's basically your clue. Number 3 is people who are clearly underserved. The ones always saying things like, why doesn't anyone make something for people like me? Here's where it gets fun. Niching down doesn't just clarify who you serve, it actually multiplies your price. Let's say you teach time management. That's pretty broad, right? With that in mind, you might sell a $19 ebook because everyone kind of wants that, right? But instead of saying that you teach time management, if you say that you help freelance designers manage projects without losing their weekends, then suddenly you've got a $199 product. And if you really want to take it up a notch, say something like time systems for creative directors, juggling client work, and a side brand. Now suddenly you're solving a mission-critical problem, and that's easily a $2,000 offer right there. So it's the same skill and just with different who. Because the more specific the problem, the higher the perceived value. And like Alex Hormozi says, the degree of the pain will be proportional to the price you will be able to charge. So when someone hears your offer and thinks that's literally me, you've basically sold half the product already. Step 3, how to create your offer. Now let's talk about how to actually help people. Every business basically does one of 2 things. It either makes life better or makes pain go away. And that's just it. And pain, by the way, is 2.5 times more powerful than pleasure in driving human behavior. Daniel Kahneman proved that in his Nobel Prize-winning research on loss aversion. So when you're selling, don't just talk about what people are getting. Talk about what they're avoiding. Say you're a fitness coach. You're not just selling fitness coaching. You're selling never feeling out of breath, walking upstairs again. And if you do copywriting, you're not just selling copywriting services, you're selling never hearing, this doesn't sound clear from a client again. People don't pay for nice to haves, they pay to have their problems gone. So here's how you turn that relief into a one-liner offer that sells itself. I help who get desired result without thing they hate. That's it. That's your first offer. And here are some examples so you can understand better. It can be something like, I help new creators grow on YouTube without burning out. Or I help business founders eat healthy without spending hours cooking. Or it can also be, I help first-time freelancers find clients without begging on job boards. If it makes you laugh because it's so real, then that's your business. Step 4, how to get your first 5 customers. Now forget ads, forget funnels, forget those 2 spots left. countdowns that somehow reset every single morning. You don't need any of that. You just need real people. Just start small. Reach out to people you already know. Compliment them genuinely and just share what you're building. Just ask them, hey, do you know someone that might need this? And that's just it. No sales tactics, no manipulation. It's just conversation. And if the word selling makes you want to disappear into your hoodie, trust me, I get it. I used to be the same person. But then I read Noah Kagan's $1 Million Weekend, and he said something there that completely flipped my perspective. Selling is helping. And that line hit me because it's so true. When you're selling, you're not forcing anyone. You're just giving them a shortcut to a result that they already want. You're basically helping them to move faster with fewer mistakes, real results, and less stress. And that's not being pushy, that's being useful. So here's your action step. Spend 3 hours a day or send 50 messages a day, whichever comes first. And by day 5, you will have real conversations, and it's very likely that by week 2, you will have real customers. Because people don't buy from the loudest person in the room. They buy from someone that actually cares. So that's not selling, that's helping. So here's the full truth. Being broke isn't a curse. It's just a state that you're in right now. And it forces you to use what can't be taken away. Creativity, courage, and consistency. Remember when I said momentum beats money? That's because when you finally start, even small wins, they compound real fast. So maybe you send 50 messages or 100 messages, get 5 replies, and maybe you make $200. But that $200, it builds proof that you can actually make money solving problems. And that proof, it builds confidence. And that confidence, it turns into more and more high-paying clients. So now you're not broke anymore, you're building. And James Clear said in Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This is your system. So just start with your best bad idea, send those messages, and just make your first dollar. Because the only business that fails is the one that never starts. That's all I have for you today. I hope you got a ton of value from this. If you did, please hit that like button. It really helps to push this video to more people who need to watch this. I'm Anika. On this channel, I talk about 1% businesses, AI, and human potential / self-mastery, all the stuff that fascinated me, that I'm passionate about. So if this sounds like your jam, please take your shoes off and come on in by hitting that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Ciao for now, and I'll see you in the next one.